What's up guys, this is Astranox. In this Hero Siege video, I want to showcase this Viking build that basically stun locks the enemy, right? Not every enemy, right? Like bosses, of course, or very healthy monsters. Monsters like shielding affix. Now, what's really cool about this build is that you're going to be able to run very fast, and this build will allow you to speed farm very efficiently, and this is a budget build. So the reason why I made this build is because I love to play hardcore, right? And in hardcore you don't have access to like all the goodies, like, you know, charms, and a lot of gear can be very expensive. So the build, right, is this. So I went very heavy on the faster cast rate, and this build is actually a shouting Viking, right? So you're shouting with Odin's Fury. I'll have the gameplay very soon. I just want to go over the build real quick, and you can refer to my Viking build guide that I did like only a few days ago. It was, you know, going extensively over everything in multiple gear sets, right? So initially you can see my life is only 7,000 ish. Now it's over 10,000. So we got buffs that increases the life and the mana. Now it's not about increasing my survivability to insane levels. It's about speed farming, and look at the speed. Now I'm just zoom out. This is pretty nice movement speed. Now, if let's say you're running a teleport build, well, you gotta teleport and then deal your damage, right? You can't deal damage and teleport at the same time. It's not as smooth as having a nice movement speed and just, you know, shouting, right? That's the thing. Now, the damage is enough for you to do health 5 and speed farm, you know, multiple places, including satanic zones. Now, this is not gonna be like a speed bossing character that will be doing uber ultra fast for you. It's about being efficient with speed farming so you can get nice heroics, angelic, you know, farm runes, farm all kinds of stuff, you know, scrolls of raw, Kurikan keys, you know, gems. There's a lot of stuff that you can just put on the market and sell. Or if you're doing solo self found Odyssey, then it's gonna be harder. But yeah, stacking movement speed is gonna be a big one. Now the gear, now this chest is kind of core to the build. You're getting a lot of movement speed. Look at how much that I have now. It's 190%, right? So if I take the chest off, yeah, that's nearly 120% movement speed from the chest. Now this chest adds a lot of damage, you know, survivability. This chest is busted because all skill, movement speed, the cast rate from these, been putting a lot of these stacking cast rate jewels, right? And these, if you power up jewel crafting, you can actually make these very easily. You know, you're gonna be able to farm a lot of ruby ore, and then you prospect and you get a lot of cardinal ruby. So it's very easy for you to make this, right? Now the thing about the Viking is that the Odin's Fury, real quick, that's the build, right? You will max this for damage. You're gonna be maxing this for survivability, and it's also synergy for damage for Odin's Fury. You're gonna be maxing this. This is all survivability on top of this. Is perfect synergies because everything is usable. Everything helps the damage. Everything helps your survivability, as well as this. So you're gonna be increasing your defense tremendously. It is 10,000 before this ring. 10,000 defense. This ring is it's pretty busted, but it's about going double cast rate rings, which you can find by yourself, and you can definitely stack all that cast rate with these cast rate jewels, right? One point in this one, the charge is something you can definitely do to increase your movement speed further, right? If you want to travel around, you can definitely be, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It works with your movement speed as well, so you can definitely, you know, mix it up with your casting to speed things up. So that's great, right? So the build for the let me show you the charge. One point in this one, you know, reduce their attack rating with high defense, makes it so like they're less likely to hit you. This is what I have set up. It grabs the monsters, bring them with you. right? And then for the main attack, the Odin's Fury, that's the setup. I got it with the, you know, multicasting chance, plus you got, it's basically quadruple, 4 shouts every time you cast it. With a lot of cast rate, it makes it so you can stun lock monsters. So if you're not taking them out because you don't have the damage that I have, like, you know, yet, it's gonna be very safe for hardcore, because you're gonna be able to stun lock the monsters so they can't do anything, right? So you just need to have, you know, not even mana replenish, because like your mana is gonna go down. Thankfully you have your shouts that, you know, the shouts for survivability, as well as this one, life and mana percentage increase, is beautiful. Mana replenish is fine, but then you can just pop a mana potion. But the big thing is that you want to stack on mana after each kill. You might run 1, you might run 2, but I like to run 2, right? And you can get life after each kill. Very powerful small charms. Now, the way I set up my charms and my gear is for hardcore in mind, right? Very obtainable stuff. In the trade, like, you can get a cheap, you know, hello, it's me, Steve, with a cheap Steve's necklace. It might be more expensive, on the more expensive side, but you can get them last. The 50 all res is very nice. You can farm lower difficulties of hell. Traveler's map journal is very nice. Level 1 requirement with Traveler's Compass. Together will make it so you have a lot of movement speed. You can even go faster than now, right? So you're gonna have up to 30 on the necklace and up to 30 on the charm. That's 60. That's a lot. You get the flat magic skill damage as well, all attribute on both of them. You even have some magic finds, some all resistances, this all skill. Like, it's very good combination. And then you switch to Steve's necklace. You might have to put some like maybe your shield. You might be running something else. Now the thing is, this claw is pretty core. The reason is because skill movement decreases by 50%. Now, because you want to be casting and running at your full speed, right? And that's why it's so good. Not only that, but you're getting all skill, you're getting a lot of cast rate, you can get up to 4 socket, you get intelligence converted into magic skill damage, you're getting a lot of intelligence, quite a nice amount of energy as well, which equals to mana. Blizzard after each kill, chance 10%. So all this stuff is very nice. This claw is awesome. You can wear it. You don't need to wear like a ring like that to enable wearing it. Like, you cannot wear a wand, right? That's the thing. So you can wear a claw for leveling, like, you know, these, and eventually you can even wield these, then transition to this later on. And you can even wear these boosts. What's important on this is, of course, all skill, arcane skill increase is nice, but the skill movement decrease by up to 50% is nice. So if you have a pair close to 50%, you can wear these shoes, these boots, before you get the claw, or you can wear these, right? And then you can go with a different weapon to get even more damage. So different strategies out there, but I really like this one because you're stacking a lot of cast rate, and it works hand in hand with stun locking the enemy, right? So these two are kind of pretty core. Everything else can be changed. Now, I have a lot of arcane ignore, 71%. Now, you can definitely increase that further if you're going to be running, like, you know, you go and you get like gloves like these, right? It's going to give you bring you closer to 100% arcane penetration. The big one is the Moon Shard. Very nice. Just counter the arcane resistance, the minus 75 arcane resistance. You counter it with, you can use this helm, which is Brim Hat. You can use this belt, right? A lot of arcane resist. Both of them together is already enough. You can use Damien's Charm. Maybe not available in hardcore, but like the Moon Shard, the Anubis Ankh Charm, you know, the Steve Charm is, you know, or the Traveler's Map Journal. These are available in hardcore, like, you know, after a few days. Now stack up on Grand Charms, which have very high flat life, because you already get life percentage from your shout, so you get a lot of value out of flat, you know, life. And real quick, I'm gonna go over the gear, and then I'll move on to the gameplay, because I don't want this video to be long, right? So yeah, mana after each kill, life after each kill, really makes it very smooth, especially for hardcore. Now this is like a bonus since I had it, right? And all skill to Viking is going to be very powerful. These type of Grand Charms are very strong in hardcore because they're more like obtainable, that you can get in the market. Instead of like Torch of Shadows, these are not going to be showing up for a long time, or if they do, they will be very expensive. Or like running like a Soul Collector is going to be very hard to get in a hardcore, very expensive, right? So all the other charms, the good stuff, they are actually on my next showcase, my next character that I want to do a build guide for, right? But the character is not yet ready. It's the Demon Spawn. I've done it in hardcore, but now I want to try it with like the very good equipment that I have on my other character. But I wanted to show a budget build. These gloves are great because all skill, cast rate, you know, on top of everything else. Now cast rate, double cast rate rings, whatever you get on top of that, that's great. Now these boots are amazing because they cost nothing, and when you're wearing this Earthshaper's Talon, you're getting the flat mana as well. This is very good. You can definitely dual wield this, you know, while you're leveling up until you're able to transition into a Glacier's Talons, or run another weapon with Fuma Sinha's Favela flip-flop, right, for the skill movement diminish decrease by hopefully close to 50%, so you can go like max run speed while you're casting and deleting everything. It's amazing. For, you know, your flask, life, mana, and then whatever increases your damage, or you can get the XP increase once since you're going to be like speed farming. I got these like leftovers. You can definitely use some like that, and that's just a +1. I think this thing goes to +5 as well. Damage to burning targets actually works because the build makes the targets burn. You can even make the targets bleed, so you can stack on damage increase when the targets are bleeding. Where is that thing? Wait, it's on this thing, but it's not actually, it doesn't have a node. You can make them bleed, that's what I'm saying. 1 point in here, enable bleed, you know, and yeah, and the burning is out of this one. And you can even get more movement speed, but I decided to go with a different route with big AoE, which is very important, and damage based on life is very nice. So you can stack up your life, and actually, instead of running that chest initially, maybe you don't want that much movement speed. Maybe you're going to be charging, maybe you're going to be teleporting or something like that. We can definitely put Leviathan's Carcass. And if you want something very cheap, instead of the cast rate jewels initially, what you can do is you can stack up on these life percentage jewels. In hardcore, that's going to be very powerful. You can move on to like Jaws, and you can have Leviathan's Carcass full of Jaws, but initially you stack it with the Willarden Jewel, or even you know, or like physical damage to can reduce by with Sol or Maul, whatever you need the most, right? So that's gonna be very good. That's even more movement speed out of this flask. I was thinking to maybe run it with phasing. Another thing is that these are very nice because you get movement phasing, but to be honest, you don't need it because you're gonna be deleting everything as you're running by, and you might not have as much movement speed as me. So less movement speed means you need less damage because you're gonna be able to delete them in time before you reach them. So Leviathan's Carcass, right, with the Shout activated, you can see 10,000 life now, and then with that thing, it's, you know, almost 16,000 life. So if you need survivability, that is going to be your armor. Now the damage definitely drops when you do that, of course. So a lot of different options for gear, as you can see. I'm not going to go over everything. You can check my guide for the Viking because I covered the, you know, the Shouting Viking already using the Odin's Fury. This is arcane damage base. That's the scaling. So yeah, the gear is really not that hard to get. I've shown you guys some, you know, replacements that you can be running. Movement, you know, small charms could be very nice. Only 7% on this thing, goes up to 15%. So if you run a few of those, that's pretty sweet actually. But remember, cast rate means you run faster, depending on how good the roll on your Exiled Pagan's Mantle is. So yeah, I luckily got a nice one, and I decided to really like build this thing up. You don't need to start up like crazy to 5. Bring it up to like, you know, 3 star is plenty already. But yeah, this shield, I'm gonna replace it with another one that has all skill, faster cast rate, and I'm thinking actually this one, or you can use the heroic version of that one. So this one, the Suomi Finland, has a heroic version, and it has higher all skill, cast rate a bit higher, maybe all resist a bit higher, and up to 6 sockets. So you can go and put the cast rate jewel in all socket if you want to go crazy, or if you don't have the fun, you can initially put these Worlden jewels in there. So the showcase of the character will be beginning, and just finish with the relics here. So Cheeseburger is just too good to pass up because 1,000 flat life, that scales off your shout increase is just so good. Same with the Mayo's old sock. Flat life 600, 20 vitality is just so good. And then 30 all attributes is amazing for everything. Same with the 2 all skills and the all attribute, the Holy Bible. This is 4 relics, you cannot go wrong, especially in the hardcore. Now in softcore, you don't have to go that hard with the survivability. But you can easily scale this to 15,000 or even like 20,000 life if you really want it, right? So as you can see, I'm just gonna go over, like, you can definitely charge. You can do some charging around. Of course, I would be mining these. Like, my normal route is I get these, right? But yeah, you could activate this and see what comes out of it, right? This place is very good for, you know, for farming gold, actually. So you go in here, and okay, some things will not be dying instantly. Is based on your luck, right? With what actually spawns. Now the problem with charging is that the monsters will be clumped up together, and it's gonna mess up the smoothness of the run. But if you just walk and let the cast happen, you're basically going to delete everything as you pass by. Actually, I had the pack here. As you pass by, if you decide to charge, it's not gonna feel like as smooth anymore. Normally, I don't charge. Okay, something's off. Like, it's not passing by. I was like charging the wall for some reason. There was a small angle. So yeah, charge all the way up here. Activate this thing. Go all the way down. But I really like the fact that you can just walk and delete everything. It doesn't feel that smooth right now because I'm charging and it's messing up the smoothness of the run, right? But when I'm doing this like this, it feels great. That's what I really like about the Viking. Even I'm trying other classes, the Viking survivability is just ridiculous on top of like the AoE DPS. Alright, so this is a satanic zone, and of course when I'm looking for one of these zones with the relic keepers, it's not there. But now, like, I'm recording the video, I'm not on the character, I need to bring my relics up and everything. You know, that's funny. Like, when you're busy and you can't really like run the place that you like, you need this place, it doesn't show what you're looking for it. But when you're not looking for it, it's there. I mean, like, are you kidding me? Okay, so like, as you can see, this is a satanic zone, nearly zone 800. So the targets are more healthy. There's different buffs running on this map for you, for the enemy. So really, sometimes you might be fighting targets that are quite healthy. But like, as you can see, everything is getting like deleted in a reasonable amount of time. Some targets are more healthy, so you might have to wait a bit, right? I mean, all my stuff is maxed out, sadly, but yeah. You can see it works well. Now, I wouldn't be running endgame content with this character. This is to kind of like get the ball rolling. It's kind of to get the character going, to transition into, you know, like my other video. I have better gear on my Viking. My damage is much higher. My single target, I mean, my multi-target is like, just against 5 target is like 2 billion or something like that, or like 1.5 billion. So like, so much more damage with the other build. But this one has nice speed. It's smooth. You don't need to spam charge to, like, you know, man, there's a lot of relics. These zones are amazing with the relic keeper, right? As you can see, like, it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue. I'm gonna actually go in that dungeon. You can run the Mayos pipe. It's on the floor. The Mayos pipe is to actually, you know, you can bring along targets with the charge like this. But I think you need movement phasing to be able to drag them non-stop, or it's not going to be working. So that's the thing. Just keep that in mind. Movement phasing is actually going to make the whole thing much smoother, especially if, you know, you're stuck between the bodies and you just want to kind of like walk by them, right? And you want to just keep on going. You want to drag them along to more monsters, right? To make the thing much smoother. Run phasing on your character. You can get that on like different pieces of gear, but as you can see, like, it's running pretty well. Like, this is a satanic zone, right? So like, just keep that in mind. And you can see the targets are getting stunned constantly. So if they're not going down, most of them are just I mean, pretty much everything in like speed farming areas that are not like a boss, they're just getting stun locked. Look at this thing. It's stunned. It cannot do nothing. Look at that. The stun animation is on it, and if they're able to do something, it's very rare, right? So you just need enough cast rate. So adjust your cast rate. When you have enough, then you can transition to survivability increase, more, you know, you want to balance it out. Maybe you want to stick some amethysts, you know, in your gear, and maybe you want to do that because you want more like damage per cast, instead of like going with crazy cast rate. So I'm gonna run this thing and then I'll end the video, but really like go over my my Viking guide that's much longer, that covers like a lot of different things, more in depth, and also like goes over so many different gear sets. But I really like this. I like this. I tried this because I want to have something solid for like season 9, to have my, like, you know, that's gonna be like kind of like maybe my target for season 9, and I might just start it off in hardcore. And of course I'm gonna be testing a lot of stuff out for you guys for season 9 and, you know, the upcoming seasons. I'm building every single character in softcore so I can actually like buy the stuff I need from the market. So I have a lot of different gear sets for every kind of budgets, so I can actually like show you guys what the characters can do on different budgets, and I can really come out with like funky builds and stuff like that, or maybe like try abilities that are not very popular, right? And or like maybe they become very strong because, like, you know, season 9, the buffs, the new like nodes that will be boosting pretty much anything. Like, you're gonna be able to make so many different builds. Okay, Bifrost, that's nice. So yeah, as you can see, it's much slower, but like this is the Shadow Realm, right? But you can see the targets are getting frozen constantly, so it's very nice. But like, I feel like that's very solid for the gear that I have on, not gonna lie, because I'm stun locking the monsters. They can't do anything. Like, they can't do anything. So even if they survive, I'm safe, right? So that's amazing. And I think like for how much it would cost for you to get the pieces together, like this is very realistic for hardcore. Very realistic. As long as you get the skill movement, you know, skill movement diminish, decrease by 50%, it's gonna do very well for you, right? And you can get that on various pieces. It doesn't have to be the Glacier's talents. It can be on the boots I talked about, or it can be on something else. There's I think there's rune words that might have it. Oh, sorry, the relic. There's a relic that has it. It's the Shade of Death, I think. You can get up to 100% skill movement decrease by 100%, but you only need 50% to go at max speed, from what I understand. Or the last 50, like the 50 to 100% is such a small difference, but it's not really noticeable if it actually works. It might be like yeah, it's kind of like a curve, like an exponential thing. The first 50% is much more drastic than the last 50% kind of deal. So yeah, you can go with different pieces. Stack up on fast cast rate with the Exile Pagan's Mantle is amazing. I mean, that run speed feels great. You know, like running like that and casting is beautiful. I'm zoomed out, guys. Like, I'm not zoomed in. If I'm zooming in, like, it's gonna run, feel like I'm running even faster. I'm like racing, right? And then you always have the charge, right? You can always charge for like crazy speeds. But yeah, and your charge will be even faster. So as you do farm certain places, you're gonna feel like so much more comfortable to do it. But yeah, that phasing, I think, is might be a big one. So real quick, I'm gonna end it, and I think the phasing really affects the whole thing about dragging monsters with you. Now, I don't have 100%, but you can see with even 35%, like I said, the thing is like a curve. Like, the first points in it is always much more powerful than the other one. So like, I'm with phasing, or it doesn't work. Sometimes you can grab everything and bring it with you. Sometimes you get stuck. Okay, I need to test something. There's something off. It doesn't normally do this. You can see why is it doing that? I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm gonna put these boot back. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, I'd like to hear what you guys think about this build in the comment section. Don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoy this type of content. I just wanted to make like for me, that's a quick video compared to the other ones, and I wanted to show you guys the power of the Viking. the fact that like you're able to just delete so many monsters, and the radius, the AoE size is so big on the shouting, so you're really able to clear. Look, it doesn't matter, you could have like 100 monster in this shouting circle, and they're all going to take like sort of like an equal amount of damage, right? So you don't have to like have projectiles. And the other cool thing is that you're not spamming projectiles all over the screen that goes in random direction and like really slows down your frame rate, your FPS, which will, you know, might like kick you to the login screen of the game if you drop under 30 FPS for too long. So if you're like an Inferno, you're fighting like a pack of monster that just is not going down, and they're like you're doing an event that's spawning more monster, and you have like a few hundred monsters on the screen, that's when you're having issue with a lot of builds. But the Viking does really well, like, because he's just going to deal full damage to everyone at the same time, and the animation is not costly on your device, right? So yeah, you can also increase and turn out, like, reduce the opacity. You can see like the radius is massive. It's okay, zoomed out, look at that, it's beautiful. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.